What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Fortnight on the Isle, my bi-weekly update series here on the channel. This week I've got, I guess in some ways a lot to go through, but I think this is going to be a little bit less to go through than I think normally happens, or at least last week was with all of my writing talk. I'm just going to say, if I thought that last fortnight was a long one, this fortnight was a really long one. Every single time I say that Fortnite has been a really long and tiring one, the next one just somehow manages to top it basically every single time. I've returned once again over the last couple weeks to do drumming at my high school for their choir for a performance that at the time of this video's release will be occurring on Tuesday. So I've been busy with that the last couple weeks, but thank goodness it will be done and over with this week. So that time should be given back to me here soon. I have now graduated, so that time has been given back to me now. Overhaul for work has been winding down, but that's generally been crazy, just, kind of as a rule, and the wind down is almost always crazy, just about as crazy as the first week of it always is because of people leaving and, all of that crazy stuff. So that's been a pretty busy week for me, as well as some crazy stuff going on with work last Friday, which I'm not going to talk about here, but there was some big names in my site for a meeting that I had to deal with. So that was something that I dealt with as well. And in terms of, kind of the personal projects and work and whatnot, I've been doing more time-sensitive videos this week because of doing Wheel of Time diaries. So reading diaries on Wheel of Time, which I suppose spoils a little bit of what's about to come up next in this video. So that hasn't exactly helped me when normally I have pretty much an entire month's, video schedule done, uploaded, and scheduled by the time the month even starts. So having more of these videos that I'm not recording or editing until the day before they're supposed to come out has definitely changed my scheduling a little bit as well. And I've also incorporated some more gaming into my life as of the last couple weeks, even though I know I don't have time to do so, but more on that later. Basically, long story short, is I've been very busy and very tired. So let's talk about the reading. Trust me, I've been reading like crazy, which hasn't helped with my time, my free time, or my stress levels at all, but it kind of is what it is. I've been reading 4 books simultaneously for the majority of this month, or majority of this month so far, so the last couple weeks, as well as some other stuff as well. So basically 5 books I have piled over here to talk about, which is insane for me. Normally I never even read 3 books at a time, let alone more. So let's just kind of talk about it. First off, I did finally start Eye of the World, so the first book in the Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, that I've been actually amazingly been surprised by. I've been loving it to death. I'm on page, what even is it? I'm on page about 305 or so out of about 370. So out of about 670. So I'm not quite halfway through, but I'm so close to halfway through it feels really good, and I've been enjoying every minute of it. It seems there's only been like a couple moments of anything happening that I've not that I've ever expressed any form of outright distaste for, and that was more like a specific character's actions at a couple different points that I think are just telling me that I'm not going to like that character, but that's besides the point. That is a book that I'm very surprised to be enjoying, but I have been doing it. I've been reading that in the mornings, and my second book that I've been reading in the mornings as well, that I've been trying to make as much time for as I can reasonably as much as I can personally reasonably allocate. I started a reread, pretty much impromptu, of Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio. This is like kind of in preparation for a certain project that I'm going to be working on. Mostly personal project that I'm going to be working on, and I'm probably not going to say anything more about that project pretty much at all for a while, if at all, but I've gotten through about 12 chapters of it. I'm nearly 100 pages out of 570, so I was hoping to be closer to a third of the way through by now, but because of how crazy life has been the last couple weeks, I haven't done quite as much reading in the mornings as I would like to. I'm hoping to have this reread done by the end of next month in June, but I'm not holding myself to that or anything. I'm not going to expect that. I'm just kind of going with the flow when it comes to this kind of thing. Another book that I did start reading, and is actually the only book that I finished reading in this fortnight, was The Sea Wolf. So the third book in this collection here by Jack London that I own. A very different book than I was expecting it to be. There's parts of me that want to give it 4 stars, but I think I'm only giving it 3 stars, and there's a couple reasons for that. I didn't actually write my review last night when I went and rated it on Goodreads. If I get a chance today, I'm going to, try to articulate those thoughts and kind of what I thought about the different portions of the book, the different portions of the book that are frankly doing very different things, all things considered, and my reactions to those, and why I feel like it's only 3 stars, even though I kind of want it to be 4 stars. But, it was a much longer read than I thought it was going to be. I kind of underestimated the fact that it's only like 190 pages in this binding that I have, but each page is about 3 pages of a normal book, or about 2 to 3 pages of a normal book. So it just meant that all of it was taking a lot longer than most other books would take me to read. But I was working on it steadily at work, and there were some things that I really liked about it and some things that I think disappointed me a bit. But another book that I did start reading more recently, about in the past week or so, was Gregor and the Code of Claw by Suzanne Collins, so the last book in the Underland Chronicles. This book I started reading, I wouldn't have actually started reading it until I finished The Sea Wolf, but then I kind of got panicked because I remembered that I was going to do a full series review and ranking of this series at the end of this month, so I was like, oh no, I need to get that read. And I think I've mentioned this once or twice before, just kind of fleetingly. I tend to read while videos that I edit render. So while this video is rendering, this morning, while I'm waiting for it to finish up and so that I can upload it, I will be reading while that happens. These books I have found have been made very good for reading while videos render because the chapters are short. It's a really quick and easy read, so it's not any difficult to do that. And I just found that I wasn't wanting to read The Sea Wolf while videos were rendering, so that's why I started reading this last week, was because I was working on several videos at the time, and it just made more sense to read it while that was rendering. But I'm about a third of the way through, have 2/3 left to get through that I think I'll be able to get through this weekend, possibly even by the time this video comes out. I'll be finished with it, I hope, so that I can get, the review for the full series out for you. But then that's all of the novel-related stuff that I was reading the last couple weeks. The fact that I got through all that I did kind of boggles my mind. Like, if I wasn't doing my reread of Empire of Silence, for example, I would probably be another 100 pages into Eye of the World, but to be fair, I've also been kind of going slowly with Eye of the World as is, because I want to take my time with that book and with that series as a whole. But either way, yeah, that's what I've been doing. And then I did read several more poems by Edgar Allan Poe. Let me look in the table of contents here and actually kind of list off all of the ones that I read. So all of the poems that I read by Edgar Allan Poe in this fortnight are listed as such: Israfel, The Sleeper, The Valley of Unrest, The City in the Sea, Lenore, and Lenore's a really good one, like genuinely not an overrated poem at all. I hear a lot of people talking about it in terms of all of the popular Poe poems. That's one of the ones that's more commonly talked about. It's amazing. I really loved that one. To One in Paradise, Hymn, Enigma, Serenade, The Colosseum, a couple more of these 2 blanks that are like 2 blank S blank, and then 2 just F blank. Well, underscores, I suppose, is better than saying blank. So like a couple more of these unnamed 2 type of poems, and I hate that naming convention. It's actually terrible. Bridal Ballad, Sonnet to Zante, The Haunted Palace, Sonnet, Silence, The Conqueror Worm, Dreamland, and Eulalie, a Song. So that was a total of, 14 poems or so? I want to say it was something around that much. Or actually, it was more than 14. It was 19 poems. So that was actually a lot more than I thought that I got through. But some of the ones that I thought were rather special to me, at least, were definitely, I think it was The City and the Sea that I liked a lot. It might have been The Valley of Unrest, although both of those I kind of had some sort of connection to. Lenore, like I said, was genuinely really great. I think that Bridal Ballad and The Conqueror Worm are ones that I'm going to look into a little bit more. And Eulalia's song was actually surprisingly beautiful as well. It had a flow that most of his other poems just tend to not. So the next poem that I'm going to end up reading at some point soon, the next time I read more Poe, is going to be The Raven, so I'm actually coming close up on that very iconic poem. But yeah, those are all of the poems that I've read in this fortnight. So I just did, generally speaking, a lot of reading over the last couple weeks, and it has been crazy. So let's move next into the bi-weekly writing. This week I'm not going to have quite as much to talk about as I did in the last update, because in the last update I was kind of giving a lot of general project updates, not just writing updates, because I didn't actually write anything, the fortnight prior to this past one. And a lot of that was because I was working on some more behind the scenes stuff. This fortnight is a little bit different. I did get about 500 words or so added as revision notes to stage 2 of pre-writing for the Reign of Ash, as I'm ramping up to begin stage 3, which is outlining here fairly soon. I'm not sure when I'll get into starting that. I'm thinking maybe here later this month, but it might be around June when I actually fully start doing that. I got all my templates built for all of the outlines for each book, and I've been thinking rather deeply a lot recently about different random scenes and other ideas for certain sections of different books, depending on what they call for in my summaries. So I've been kind of thinking about that a little bit, so that the outlining process doesn't take quite as long, just having to come up with stuff, that kind of thing. But otherwise, I've not done a whole lot of concrete actual writing work this fortnight either. I've been taking a break, especially since I've been doing so much other stuff. In general, I've been wanting to cut back on the writing so that I can do the other stuff. But other than that, I've mostly just been working on the website and getting certain things integrated with my Discord as well. I got some major edits done on that front, but I still have a lot more to go, a lot more, and I will continue to update as those things are getting finished, especially since I'm planning to get a lot of that stuff done before I actually start outlining, because then, people can start joining my community. Let's move on next into the coming releases, so all of the videos and stuff, and writing things that I have coming out over the next couple weeks. This next couple weeks are going to be fairly quiet, in the sense that this Tuesday, on the 16th, I'll have a review of 127 Hours by Aaron Ralston, so a little bit of a different review, but that is one that I'm excited for, one that I just enjoyed reading again this year, so I wanted to cover that. The next Tuesday, on the 23rd, I'll have a review of Wuthering Heights. Feels like a millennia ago that I recorded that review, even though it was less than a month ago. Time can be pretty crazy, but yeah, those two reviews will be coming out over the next couple Tuesdays, but then each Thursday of the next couple weeks will be more Wheel of Time diaries. I've already done 2 of those so far of my journey while reading Eye of the World. I'm going to continue to do a couple more of those over the next couple weeks as I continue to work through the book. I believe there will be 5 diaries total on Eye of the World. So there's been 2, there's going to be 2 more this fortnight. There's probably going to be 1 more the next fortnight. And then I'll likely be going back into normal episodes of the book binge for June. But that is what I have planned in terms of the coming releases. When it comes to writing or the Discord or the website or anything like that, I obviously don't have anything solidly planned out yet, because I've just got a lot of work to do on some of that stuff behind the scenes first. So that is what's going down in the release department. Let's do some entertainment talk real quick before I go. As I mentioned earlier, I've been incorporating a little bit more gaming into my time the last couple weeks. I did start replaying Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order recently, since Jedi Survivor came out not too long ago. I've been replaying Jedi Fallen Order, which is actually my 3rd time playing it. I would not have been inclined to play it for a 3rd time, since I've already played it, twice before now. But the reason that I have been is for recording footage. I like to have footage of basically all the games that I play at this point, so the fact that I didn't have footage of that game was bothering me. So I decided to do that, and besides, I wanted to play it again on PS5 anyway, after my first 2 times were on the PS4, and let me tell you what, it runs a lot better on the PS5 than it did on the PS4. So I'm hoping to have my replay of this game finished by the time this video releases on Sunday, since I'm recording it on Friday morning. I'm not certain if that will be the case, but I certainly hope it will be the case for a couple reasons. Reason number one is because I would like to get to Jedi Survivor at some point this summer, and I don't like pausing games in the middle of them, because when I do that, I don't end up coming back to them forever, and when I do, I end up restarting them, and I definitely don't want to do that with a game that I've already played a lot of, for the third time. So I want to get that done so that I can play Jedi Survivor and do it for probably a Let's Play, just a straight up Let's Play sometime this summer, maybe. We'll see about that. But otherwise, it's most of the reason why I want to have that playthrough done by the time this video releases is because, if you don't know, today on Friday, as the day that I'm releasing, or the day that I'm recording this video, is the day that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom comes out, and I plan and prepare to absolutely no-life the heck out of that game for pretty much the rest of May. So anytime that I'm not spending actively reading or working on my website or anything like that, which, to be fair, a lot of that stuff is going to be happening at work rather than at home. Basically, all of my time at home is probably going to go to playing Tears of the Kingdom. And also, alongside that lines, I'm also going to be preparing. I suppose I could have said this in the coming releases. I totally forgot about this. Prepare for basically podcast-like discussions with Josh over on my second channel, King Crusoe VODs, which is linked in the description of this video. We're going to record a sort of our first episode that's going to be kind of like a recap of some of our thoughts and opinions on like Breath of the Wild and stuff like that prior to Tears of the Kingdom. And then it will also be a first impressions video. So basically, once both of us have finished playing the tutorial level, I suppose, of Tears of the Kingdom, we're going to do a discussion video. We're probably going to record that on Monday morning, so that will be tomorrow as of the day this video releases. So that it can probably release this weekend, probably on Saturday, or maybe on Friday. It depends on when I get it up. I hope I can get it up by Friday. That would be pretty neat. But yeah, so Josh and I are going to do that. We're going to, play through the game separately, but we're going to occasionally, maybe even weekly, for the time being, do kind of podcast-like discussions on that game, because that is when, over the next couple months, we're just both going to be playing an absurd amount of it. But I believe that is all that I needed to get through in this video. This recording file is way too long compared to what I want it to be. It's about 23 minutes right now, but to be fair, probably 5 or 7 minutes of that time was spent just trying to find some of my updates on the Edgar Allan Poe collection on Goodreads, because the Goodreads website is terrible. You know how that goes, but that's basically what's been going on there. So I hope this video only ends up being like 17 minutes at most, hopefully even less than that. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday with a review of 127 Hours. Thank you guys for all the support recently. It means the world to me. We'll talk a lot more about that in the June State of Affairs, but thank you guys again for watching. I'll be back in whatever the next video is, whenever it is.